What's up, people? Welcome to episode 20 of the By the Hood podcast / webcast. I don't know how you're consuming this content, so however you are, I do want to say thank you. We appreciate all the support. We have like close to 10,000 listens on all platforms within the last couple months, which is amazing. So this is growing. People are sharing it and continue to share this content because the idea behind the By the Hood podcast webcast is just to highlight people in our community, brothers and sisters who are doing amazing things, building amazing businesses, and are doing real work in the community, tangible work. So, with that being said, my brother Corey isn't here today. He's under the weather, but I'm going to hold it down nonetheless. And we have a very, very special guest, man. This young brother is a young brother, but he's in the Philadelphia area doing amazing things. The founder of Boone Premier Real Estate. He's an agent. He's an investor. Now I see he's working as a trainer and a mentor to other people, which is important. He has a business that he started with his mother, which I think is the dopest thing ever. And we're going to talk a little bit about all that. But without further ado, I want to introduce my brother, Derek Boone. What's going on, Boone? We're going to call you Boone from now on. I know that's the whole world called you. So Boone, what's good, fam?
What's going on, man? How you feeling? First thing first, I appreciate you letting me, come on here. You somebody I've been, watching. I think we met one time.
I came to one of your events because you guys had something at Temple.
Yeah. I didn't even know if you remember that.
I did, yeah. Because listen, man, because I told Tom, I said, man, because Tom came to one of my events and he told me he was having an event, and I came to the event and I was just blown away because we can start right there because y'all some young brothers, man. Like, and it was inspiring. Like, you dudes inspire me. Like, a lot of times, like, I've been in this game for a long time, but when I see like guys like you and Tom, Rosebud Investments, all the younger generation that we have here in Philadelphia, man, you people are inspiring because you guys are putting in the work. So, first and foremost, man, I just want to say thank you because I see the work that you guys are doing, and you don't even recognize how many people's lives you're changing. But I've met people that have mentioned you that, you know what I'm saying, where just in like, I went to his wholesaling class and now I'm doing a deal. Like, so I see you guys are putting in work.
I didn't even realize that because, I'm more the guy, keep my head down, just grind, just do what I got to do. And then some people was calling me, it was like, yo, such and such is left here and said your name. I'm like, who is that? And they like, yo, they was talking like they knew you.
Yeah.
And I've been getting that a lot lately, and this is like a blessing. I didn't realize how many people, cared. And my wife, she was saying, dang, on your birthday, like a lot of people were saying happy birthday, like they not just like happy birthday, like happy, like, yo, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that many people actually just care.
Man, that's what it's about, man. I actually was in the settlement 2 days ago, right? So I walked in the settlement and the brother buying a house, right? So he's like, yo, you came and spoke at my school last year. And the funny thing is I didn't even remember him, but he was buying a property that was rehabbed or whatever. But I thought that was dope too, because when you're out there doing the work, a lot of times you don't recognize, but that's the thing. When you put your head down and do the work, people will recognize it, man. And you guys are doing amazing work. But let's back up a little bit, though. How did you actually get into the real estate game? So are you from Philadelphia? What section of the city are you from? And what was your journey like?
So I'm from Philly. So I'm kind of like on a couple different angles. So I'm from like uptown area of Philly. So my parents split when I was young. So my dad lived in Mount Airy.
Mm-hmm.
He got a crazy deal. He bought this house on like a foreclosure in Mount Airy for like dirt cheap, but a nice house. And then just took his time over the years fixing it up. And then my mom, she lived in West Oak Lane, like the beginning part of West Oak Lane, as you want some of it, whatever you want to call it. But you know what Imhotep is?
Absolutely.
A block off from Imhotep, like
okay.
From where my mom's house was. And then all my family lived in Strawberry Mansion. So I was going from week to week from Mount Airy to West Oak Lane, and then the weekends and the whole summer, like in Strawberry Mansion. So I'm kind of like all over.
Yeah, got you. So what high school did you go to in the city?
I went to MCS, Math, Civics, and Science at
Okay.
Garden.
Okay.
Present, my dad's uncle, my dad's brother's daughter, she went there, and then I went there. It's from 1st to 12th, so I went there like 5th grade, and then I stayed there.
Got you. So how did you end up in the real estate game? What was it that got you into the real estate game? Was it something you always wanted to do, or like did you just bump into it?
No, it was something crazy. So 2 parts of real estate game, like I guess you want to say like investing and like the realtor side and the wholesale side. So the realtor side, I went to a seminar. I went to this home buying seminar. I don't know if you know him as Anthony Lee.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to his home buying seminar. It was like strictly on buying multifamilies because I already had a house already. So I went to that. I said, I want to buy a motorcycle. Like, that's the next level. That's just where my mind was. So I went to that, and then he was talking to me. We sat and had like a consultation the next, like 2 days later. And he was just talking to me. He said, yo, you know a little bit. I was like, well, I read a lot of books. Like, I just, I'm interested in stuff. And then he said, no, like, you got the personality. This is you. Like, real estate is you. I said, look, man, just help me buy my duplex and, get out my face. And then he was like, so he talked to me some more. I went and got pre-approved. And it's crazy because the pre-approval thing didn't work how I wanted to work. So when that hit, I was just like, man, let me give this thing a shot. So I gave it a shot, and I went and took the class at Temple, 2 classes. You got to take 2 classes, like $300 each. And then that's when the crazy part is it took me 10 times to pass my test. I failed 9, and then I passed on the 10th time. And then I was like, look, now I gotta make this work. And then after the first deal, when I was on the buyer side the first deal, and then the face that the buyer had when she got her keys was like,
it's like a drug.
It was kind of like, it had nothing to do with the money. Like, the first check I got was like, because it was I had to split it with my team leader, so I got like $1,800. Like, it was something under $2,000, like $1,500 or something. They take their fees and stuff.
Yeah.
Brokerage. So I was and the crazy thing, I messed up on something, so I had to give up $500. It was crazy, but when I seen that, it was like, it wasn't about the money anymore. It was like, dang, they really happy. Like, and so then I just kept running it from there. And then that's when I kind of like fell in love with the agent side, just helping people.
But you know what, though? You said something that's really important, which is like, for lack of a better term, your stick-to-itiveness. You said you took you 10 times to pass that test, right?
Yeah, man.
Do you know how many people would have like stopped after 2, 3, let alone like, what was it like after the 9th time and you went back in for 10? Like, that right there, like
I was almost about to, like, it was so crazy because it was like man, you ever saw Best Man Holiday?
Yeah.
During that movie, like, she was the wife was about to die like a couple times, but she kept surviving. So it was like a roller coaster ride. So when it happened, you kind of was already through. So for me, I thought I was gonna pass and fell so many times. So when I actually passed, I was talking to my girl at the time. I said, yo, I just passed. She was like, yo, that's congrats, you happy? I was like, nah, I'm trying to find a brokerage now. Like, I already like so obsessed so many times that I didn't even feel it no more. I just trying to get busy. So it felt good. And it's funny because I put that story up on the gram, and then somebody that an agent that actually I ended up did a couple deals with. I seen them. I helped them. They came to some of my classes. They told me that the reason I took my test the 4th time was because I saw you did that. They failed 3 times. They went back on the 4th time and passed. So like, I didn't like you said earlier, I didn't realize how many people got touched, just from hearing what you do. But
that's the beautiful thing about like being transparent, because you never know. There's always somebody else who's going through something that can relate to that.
Right.
But I think that's right there is already inspiring. Just starting this episode, because like, you didn't give up. You kept going after it.
No.
But let me ask you something. What were you interested in before the whole real estate thing happened? Before you went to that seminar, what were your plans? Like, what did you think you wanted to do at that point?
So I put this on a gram earlier today because this is something I felt, but nobody put the words in. So this guy's name is Demetrius Walker. He do like new construction.
Mm-hmm.
He was speaking at this place I was at, and he said real estate is my love, is my heart, but business is my passion. So I always just wanted to, have different businesses, do different things, and, own stuff, and, just never work a job, which I did work a job, but get out of that and just, and make that run. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I said, I want to have businesses. I don't know what it was.
But what gave you that mindset as a young man to say, I want to be in business or own a business? Was it like something instilled to you from your parents, or was it something you saw, read? Like, what was it that made that?
My parents wasn't entrepreneurs. My dad, he worked at the post office. My mom, she was in social work, so she had different social work jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So neither one of them was in business. But when I was at like in Mountain area around at my dad's house, I was cutting grass like 8, because they had grass in the front, so I was cutting grass there. And then when I was at my mom's house in West Oak Lane, I was setting up candy stands in the corner. When I was at school, I used to, I remember my mom took me to Sam's Club. I bought all these tasty cakes. I was selling them for like a good part of the year at school.
So you always been a hustler, basically.
Yeah, I was always, anything you could think of, I sold it. So selling waters, candy, all types of stuff. So this was something I had, but I didn't realize how good it was until like I turned 16. And I said, everybody going to work after school. I already was doing my hustling thing. And I was like, I want a job. I want to see a paycheck. Cause I'm like, getting 20, 40, 10, $20 here and there, like little hustle stuff. And then I said, I want to get a job and see like a lump sum of one check. So I went and applied to McDonald's, got the job. And this when it hit me, it was spring break. Cause I was always working, at the school. I worked from 4 to 11, 4 to 12 every day after school. And my mom said, you gonna get tired of that. I'm telling you, nah. I'm gonna do spring break. I did like an 8 to 12, 8 to 11 every day that week. My check was after 2 weeks was $350. I said, wait a minute. And she said, see, I told you. So I cut down them hours and then, worked at another job. And then I got back into the, the entrepreneur stuff.
Mm-hmm. So going to that seminar, like basically changed your life.
Yeah. So 2 seminars. The first seminar I went to, this really changed my life. This is what got me back into the entrepreneur thing. I went to this thing. I don't know if you know his name, Nehemiah Davis. Mm-hmm. I went to this seminar he had called Boardroom Boss. It was like $250. And you sit in this room and then they just like, what do you try to just pull it out of you? Like, what do you want? So I didn't went there with nothing. I just know I want to be something. And then that vibe just had me just when I got my LLC like 2-3 days later, and then had me like turn it back on. The hustle I had when I was a kid, just turn it back on in a grown-up world. And then that's when that kind of kicked the entrepreneur stuff going and got my mindset back. And then the real estate seminar got me, this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? That turned my switch on, but this turned my heart on, and I was like, all right, it's over after this.
All right, so it's something else I want to follow up what you just said. You talked about your mental and how having your mind right. Yeah, so a lot of times people and I was going to ask you that. How do you where do you think that falls? Because a lot of times people just want to pick up and go, which is a good thing to me because taking action is important. But in terms of getting your mind right, so it is like a lot of times people don't focus on the mental because they're so hungry, but they don't focus on the mental part of like having your mind right in terms of building a business. So how important was it for you? And what are some of the things? Is it books or what do you do to keep your mind focused?
The mental is more important than anything. If it wasn't for me going to that mental seminar first, that real estate seminar wouldn't have clicked how it was supposed to click. So that's key. I don't read a whole bunch of books. I'm trying, but I be out like a lot. So when I get home, it's like just sitting, I fall asleep. It's not that I don't like the books. It's just that by the time I get back in, I'm dozing off already. So, but the one book that helped with the mental shift along with that seminar was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That I finished that whole thing and that really took a shift. And along with that book, it's another book called, oh man, what the heck is it called? It's gonna get it. It's gonna hit me right.
Yeah. Well, just let me know if it comes across. But I just find it interesting the mental part of it. So you were an agent, and you already talked about how helping someone buy a house, how that changed you too, because you saw like the joy they got in buying a house. Mm-hmm. What made you make that shift from that part to the investing side with the wholesaling and those strategies you use now? Well, how'd that switch happen?
So that switch happened from being in touch with a couple people I met in the real estate game. So 3 people that I met in the real estate game that really turned that switch on. Malik Carter, I don't know if you know him.
He was on here. Yeah. Malik was on here.
Malik Carter, because every time he was one of the first people I met in this whole real estate thing. And he used to tell me every time, you got a commission, you ain't buying nothing yet, you ain't buying nothing yet, you ain't buying nothing yet. Yeah, man, he used to get on my nerves. He's like, you ain't buying nothing yet, you ain't buying nothing yet. So that's one of them. And then Tyreek, his name Reek Estate on Instagram. Me and him like next to each other, all the time, every day. So we bought something together. So me and him, he's always around. So you become the person you hang around the most. So absolutely. At the Wild, he got a lot of stuff. So it just naturally happens. And then being around Tom, I met up with Tom, and I already knew about wholesaling, but he actually broke it down to me. You just know about something.
Yeah.
down to me. And that's how the wholesale thing worked out. And then me and him linked up. And it's so crazy how it's like a yin and yang. So things that he's not good at, I'm good at. Things I'm not good at, he's good at. Not even just physical business stuff, but just like mindset. Him, like, he's like trying to like run off and, you know, get busy in something ASAP. I'm like, oh, wait, let's run the numbers first and then break it down. And then let's jump. And then sometimes something I need to be a little more faster on. And he's like, yo, speed it up. So we work. Like,
that's important to have. A couple of things there. First off, one of the things I admire about Malik though is because Malik's another person who shares his failures and not just his successes.
Yeah,
and I think that's dope too. But that whole partner thing is true. So with my real estate portfolio, and I got a partner named Carrie. And like when it comes to actual construction, I'm terrible at that. I could find deals, I could do the numbers, I know how to value properties, but when dealing with contractors, you know, I'm not, but I have a partner that could do that piece. You know what I'm saying? Right. So finding a partner, a lot of times when you partner up with somebody, that can take your business to another level. So it's dope that you found people around you that inspire you, man. And it's also dope because all y'all young brothers, like I know everybody you talking about, and y'all all young brothers, y'all all doing your thing. And that's good to see. So with your real estate business, what is the future? Like, what are you trying to do now? Is it more wholesaling, more buy and hold? What do you want to be your long-term game?
So my long-term game, and let's say like four different aspects. So the one, I have a real estate team, like on the realtor side of things, I have a real estate team. I have a couple agents under me. Boone Premier Real Estate Team. We're under Keller Williams, but that's our team.
Yeah.
So my long-term,
you're following the millionaire real estate agent playbook to the T, right? So like,
when I tell you mentorship is a cheat code. So all I do is find the people that's really getting busy. One of the top agents like in the world, his name is Mike McCann.
The real estate man.
Yeah.
Listen.
Me and him are tight. So
that's dope.
Him, whatever he tell me, I'm on it. There's nothing to talk about.
So you're in the same office as Mike McCann, right?
Yeah.
This was funny. I had a settlement in his office like last month. I think it was last month. Well, y'all office, because you're in the same office, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny. I'm sitting there and I see like cameras coming around, and this ain't like, you know, people with cell phones. These are like big cameras, like a Hollywood set. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? They following him around. I was like, I don't know if he's shooting a TV show or this is his own personal commercial, but the boy literally had like Hollywood movie cameras following him around.
Like a rare day, because that's not how it usually is.
Yeah, I was like, yo, that's how he get busy.
I do that to him all the time. He really don't really like it like that, but he's such a nice guy to where, like, he had spoke at one of my seminars. I just asked him, he said, sure. So he's more so like, if I got some time on my schedule, you can have it. And I appreciate that. But yeah, he kind of inspired me to do stuff like with the team stuff. So that way we can grow. And I wanted to, and then another guy, his name Jeremy Bowers, he told me how he got a team that was doing, you know, X amount of dollars a year, but he doesn't touch any agreement of sales anymore. So a lot of people get to the point where they're an agent, then they start investing, and then they leave the agent stuff alone. See, the thing is, people are always going to be buying and selling houses. So for you to jump totally out of it is like, no, don't do that. So I want to grow a team to where they're still flourishing without me, like McCann team. Whether he goes in the office or not, that team is still going. So that's one of my long-term goals. And then have like somebody that really monitor that, like an operations manager. On the investment side, I just really want to get into, you know, bigger things. You know, still buy, you know, smaller project, but you know, get into like, you know, bigger buildings, you know, hotels and more bigger real estate. My goal for next year, I was telling Tom this, the goal for next year is really about like one thing a month, because we get a lot of deals that come our way. But I was telling him, I said, you know, finishing out this year, finish stacking up the money, and then just one a month. So 12 properties, just one a month. It don't even got to be like expensive stuff. See something 20, 30 for like And then on the wholesale thing, how we set that up is we got like a small team. We just kind of just putting this together, so we still working out the kinks. But I have like a small team on us where they handle that, and he kind of like is the direct head for that. And then we talk, and then he talks to them. I still come in, you know, from time to time, but that's how we work it, because trying to do 4 things, my mind be going crazy.
Yeah.
So he handles that more. So that's just having team. My long-term goal is just having teams in every aspect of business. That way things don't disappear, but they can grow without me.
Yeah, but and that's the thing, that's one of the keys, because that's almost like getting into that 4-hour work week where you can just oversee everything, and you have to delegate. In order to
Exactly.
build anything at a certain level of scale, you have to trust others and allow them to do their thing. You know what I mean? But a couple things I want to ask you. The first is about so you and Tom partnered up, but now I see you guys doing a lot of like mentorship yourself. You talked about mentorship being that, but now you're other people's mentor. How did you come up with the idea to start throwing events and to give knowledge back?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I'm perfectly honest with you. Our first ever event, we had so many people asking us questions that we decided to throw an event and just to answer all people's questions. And on the same token, we were like, hey, we'll charge people, $50 to come, and let's just save that money and buy a property. Let's buy a property together. Like, that was the original, goal. Like, let's just save the money, help people, and, teach them stuff. And then we can kind of like, save it, help speed up the process of saving and buy a property. That was like the first thing. And then we took a hiatus, we took a break off of that. And then that's when it just, as our following grew, more questions came. So then that's when but how people act, and I can only blame myself, because this is how I got started. Send a DM, hey, can I take you to lunch? So I said that a couple times, like on Instagram. So people started hitting me with the same thing. But you can't do that with every single person. So
no, you're right.
That's when we started doing the group mentorship. And then we kind of like put people through like channels. So you start to see who's really serious. And then we can go ahead into like more of like a one-on-one thing with somebody. But it's more like a group, like a funnel. Like, hey, you make it through the group, you make it through the channels. And then now we have some people that's like direct one-on-one. Like, they have my personal phone number. They've been to my house, like more one-on-one. But of course, everybody, you start to see how people.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the time you get to step 5, 100 people turn into 3.
And it could be overwhelming too, like because even as like with the Buy the Hood brand, as it grows, I get so many DMs now, like, and I apologize, people I didn't get back to yet if you're watching this, because I'm going like every day I'm going by. I literally get, I'm not gonna lie to you, close to like 500 a day. Dang. DMs. So I'm trying to go through them as fast as possible, but as it grows, it gets more and more. I'm sitting there like, and the thing is, like, I think right now our followers are like 18, 19,000, something like that. I'm like, how do people who have 1 million followers, what do their DMs look like? It must be crazy.
They hire somebody to handle that. Like Gary V, he has somebody specifically just to reply to messages.
Yeah, because I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's overwhelmed as I am. People that have a couple million, they got it, like, has to be filthy in their DM. But
exactly.
But I think that's dope that you guys are throwing the events. Like I said, I met people that, just didn't even know that I knew you were Tom, and was like, yo, I learned this. And I was like, damn, you guys are really having an impact. So just want to, tell you guys to keep that up. The last thing I want to talk to you about before we get you out of here, something I saw that was really dope. So I saw that you had an opening for a business you started with your mom, Washington Events. How did that come about? What was the idea behind that? How did you get into the event space business? And was it like, how is it going into business with your mom? I thought that was dope.
Oh man. So it's something that my mom always wanted. She was talking about that stuff since I was a kid. She always said she wanted to open up a wedding hall, a venue hall. That's something she always wanted to do, but she always was thinking, which is nothing wrong with that. She was thinking like extremely big. And she was thinking about like buying a church, buying a warehouse. She was thinking like buying like some big stuff, but it's not that it's impossible. But at that time, we just don't have that type of money, resources to do that. So it just never worked out. And then one of my mentors, Nehemiah, he actually has, a couple event spaces, and me and him are like, left and right. So I was with him, and then, after a while, things rub off on you, and then I'm just watching. I'm like, yo, this don't really seem that hard. And he really broke down the game to me. He's like, yo, it's not hard. You can get a space that could fit like 100 people or 60, 70 people and, rent it out. And then when you rent it out, the rent may be X amount of dollars. You rent it out for this amount per 4 hours. And I'm like, oh, shoot. That's not so. I went and brought it back to my mom, and I was telling her about it. I said, yo, you still thinking about the event space thing? She said, yeah, that's my passion. I said, I think I got a way. Like we can build up to that
Mm-hmm.
5,000 people thing, but this might be something we could start small. So she liked it. And then I told her, this is exactly how I said, look, I got the whole playbook. Just sit down and I'm gonna call you when it's done. And that's literally how it happened. I went and found a place for her. I found 2 places for her. Went and talked with the owner, talked with everybody, put the whole play together, signed the lease, went and rehabbed the whole thing, both sides, got it up and running and gave her the keys. I said, look, all I need you to do is I'll bring them in, make them sign a contract and you collect the money and then hopefully you retire one day. And that's just basically how we did it.
Oh, that's dope.
It was a little rough in the beginning with me and her personally because she's a little more old school. So a lot of the visions that I had when rehab, because I was like, look, you stay home. I'm going to call you when it's done. So all you guys take the keys. I wanted to give her a full finished product.
Yeah.
Still peeking in. Wait, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? I don't think that's going to look right. No, take that off the wall. This. I'm like, Mom, just chill. It's going to work out. And then when it was a finished product, she said, this is amazing. I said, you just trust me. So both buildings, I had to go through that. So like I said, it was a little rough in the beginning. And then she actually told me, she's like, I apologize for giving you a hard time and yelling at the contract. Like it was sometimes the contract was calling me and said, yo, your mom said, don't paint it. I'm like, yo, who's sending you the money? Like, just like, no, don't. She said, don't paint this. And I don't want to, she's like, my mom's stern. So she's like, I don't want to, go against her. So that's how it was just a little rough in the beginning. And then it was the second, which was not too long ago, but we worked it out. The second building, my mom is a pastor too. So she wanted to make the second building just church. And I was like, Mom, you leaving a lot of money on the table by just, doing church. Because my mom, she works a job. So she was only doing church on Mondays. I said, you leaving a lot of money on the table by saying nobody can come in. It's just for me on Mondays. And we was going back and forth about that a lot. Because I'm like, yo, you really, even though like I'm not taking no money, it's just like, you got a big opportunity here. Like, why? Like, so this happened 60 days ago, 45 days ago. So in the last month, she finally opened up to like, okay, well, look, this is my day. And then we could run it out the rest of the day. So now we have booked a couple of events. Somebody actually about to send a cash app. I just talked to them before I told you they're going to send a deposit in like an hour. I'll text her to see if they send it or not. But now we getting that rolling now. Thank God. Because I was like, you leaving a lot for one day.
So right now y'all have 2 spots.
Yeah, we have.
I know you got the one on Godfrey and like the,
it's both. They're both in the same block.
Oh, both in the same block. Okay, so you got 2 spots in the same block.
Yeah. So
okay.
I like it because it gets people, when people go see it, they got options. Like you either got this side or this side. This one is booked, but this one is open, or vice versa.
Got you.
One has like a more elegant look, and one is just like white wall space, and then one has like a more elegant type. We got colors and stuff going on. So
so in that scenario, when you put those plays together in the rehab, is that something that like, that's something that you're responsible for, or the actual owner of the building chips in with as well?
So the actual owner of the building, what we agreed on, he do the plumbing was messed up there. So he agreed to do the plumbing, and then he did new electrical. But besides that, the place was messed up. I mean, messed up. It was so messed up. I worked out a deal. I said, well, I won't pay you for the first 2 months because it needed that much. It was messed up.
Yeah.
We had to redo the entire thing, and he did the plumbing and electric. And then the heat was already working. But we put air in there, but we did everything else.
So what's the long-term vision for like Washington events? Is it just those 2 spaces? Are you trying to get more spaces? What's the long-term plan with that?
So the long-term plan with that is to turn into wedding venues, like a wedding hall where we can fit like a lot of people. I don't know if you ever heard of the Waterfall. It's in Delaware. It's like one of the best. It's like one of the top 10 wedding venues out there. It's expensive, but it's nice. That's like the long-term vision where we can fit, 2 weddings at one time, and it's like 200 in this room, 200 in that room, and that's like the long term. I think that's like the end goal, like being able to have weddings. And when I looked at the numbers, I'm like, oh shoot, there's 2 weddings, both weddings are $30,000. I'm like, then they did $60,000 in one day. That's this. We still got next weekend, the next weekend after that, And then people having little small quinceañeras and stuff during the week. And I'm like, dang, this is, but that's my mom. That's like I said, rewinding. That's my mom real goal. This is just, hey mom, this is stepping stools.
Yeah, building to get there. Yeah.
Money, like, you know, she was just trying to skip all these steps. I'm like, yo, these are stepping stools.
But you know what though, it's a gem in that as well, because even when it comes to the real estate game, people want to buy like big hotels and apartments, when throughout this process of doing the spaces you're doing now, not just to build up to it financially, but you're going to learn so many lessons along the way that when you get that bigger venue, it's going to be worth it to grow to that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So you got a lot of plays you put together, man. You really are practicing this multiple streams of income thing, which I think is dope. And another thing dope about it is they're all within the real estate space.
Yeah. So, and then we got another one open up. This is not with my mom, but this with Reek. We bought a building. It's 3 stories. There's gonna be apartments upstairs. There's gonna be an event space on the first floor. So we working on that. That's gonna be done like March. We rehabbing that. We had a little issue with the city, but it actually is getting squared up this week. So thank God. That took back like 3 weeks right there. But that's gonna be another one. But I was talking to one of my mentors, and I was actually telling him one day, I said, I'm thinking about jumping in the cars. One of my friends one of my friends ran down the play of, you know, with going to get a dealer's license and getting the cars. I was like, but that was my first passion when I was a kid. I wanted to be a car designer. That was my first ever passion. So I was like, this is my way to get back to what I was, you know, I really like. My favorite car is a 67 Shelby Mustang. I don't know if you ever saw Going to 67.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I wanted to get back in that. And then he told me, he said, look, there's so much money in real estate. Don't stop what you're doing to jump into something else. So I took that as, you know what, you're right. So now I want to be like a one-stop shop real estate. You need co-working space, hotels, you know, rentals to rent a house, sell a house, Airbnb. I'm here. You need help. Somebody to represent you to buy a house. Somebody to represent you to sell a house. You're trying to get rid of a cheap house. Like I want to be that whole that whole space, a one-stop shop.
And listen, man, you could do it, man. One of the wealthiest guys I met was an old Jewish guy. He actually owned the land that some of those car lots down Essington Avenue was on. He actually owned the land. So he had nothing to do with any of the actual dealerships, but just owning the land. And what that taught me was, like, you know, literally just owning land will always have value. Mm-hmm. And another thing you said, which is important, another mentor I had, Virginia Mesa, who owns Mesa Realty. I'm pretty sure people in Philadelphia have seen the Mesa Realty sign, especially uptown. She was the first, she's the second broker I ever worked for when I got my license back in the day. Okay. And she was like the play you're talking about. She had put that together back then. She had a very successful property management business that was bringing in. She was making most people's income just in property management. Like, she had a business where her husband was an appraiser. Her son was a real estate attorney. They had the brokerage. They had their investment property. So it was so many streams of income, but they all were within real estate. And another thing that I tell people all the time about real estate, which is why real estate is so powerful, is there's people that make money all kinds of ways strictly through real estate, right? Yeah. And what I mean by that is, like, and I've told a story in the podcast before. So I spoke in Australia earlier this year. And
that's dope.
And what blew me away about it is, at this conference, there was people from to do real estate all over the world. And I met people that own, like, one guy was flipping farmland, like something I never even thought about doing. I met one dude who gets like millions of dollars in income off of REITs, and he doesn't have any tangible buildings, but he owns equity in all these properties through REITs. And so there's literally tons of ways to make money in REITs. I've met appraisers who do so many appraisals, and they're charging $500 a piece. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing 100 a week, and they're making tons of money. They're millionaires through appraisal.
Yeah, I had a nice conversation with an appraiser on this deal I'm doing last week, and he was just breaking it whole down to me, because he was like, I buy houses too. So when he said that, I was like, oh, you do a little bit more of that. He was just breaking down the whole game. I didn't even think about appraisals like that.
That's what I'm saying. There's so much money in real estate from all different angles, whether we talk about appraisers, property managers, people that's flipping, people that's buying and holding. So, because real estate itself is a big sector of our overall economy. So it's always going to be here. It's going to have its ups and downs, but there's always going to be money in real estate. Even in a down market, there's money in real estate, man. So, man, I just want to thank you for your time again, man. I just want to say congratulations on all your success. I'm glad you found your passion, man, and continue to share your information and your time with other people, man, because right, what you guys are doing, it's going to sound crazy when I say this, but you guys are doing something that's revolutionary. So we have a lot of people that go online and they talk about like saving the world and saving the community, but that's all they do is sit online all day. They don't physically do anything other than talk about what our problems are, but have no solutions. And you guys are helping. When you help somebody put food on the table, like, you know, as I say, put food on their family to mix them together. When you help somebody put food on their family, like literally eat, that's literally revolutionary because you're really helping somebody. So with you and Tom, and salute to Tom, I know Tom gonna be watching this, so salute to Tom. But what you guys are doing with that play is amazing, and also like keep up the work with your mom. I think that's inspiring too. The people out there who are watching that too, like, you know, get in the business with your family because that's a family business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, and it's a couple friends that, you know, we starting slowly, and there's a couple friends we ain't starting none yet. But I just want to make sure everybody, like, you know, I started with, granted, you can't go into business with everybody you started with, but at least they got something. Even if it's not with me directly, it's something that they can, you know, have. But I always tell people all the time, I'm not saying quit your job. I never condone quit your job. Like, you know, some people quit your job, jump in the
I know. I don't do that either.
Yeah, if everybody quit their job, who's going to heal me? Who's going to be a doctor to heal me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. It's funny because what got me off that was another Kiyosaki book called Cash Flow Quadrant.
I seen that. I want to get that.
Yeah, and he breaks down about the quadrants, and what really affected me in reading that book is he was talking about how some people, like, you know, can be an employee and make so much money that they're making way more money, even passively, than someone who's self-employed or has their own business. So it's about being strategic. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to, because bottom line is everybody don't want their own business too. Like, life is about being happy.
Yes, yeah. Seem like it's a bad thing, and I always tell them, like, yo, that's not cool for you to. They don't play them wanting to go to work because you can make your own schedule. Like, that's what they want to do. Let them.
Everything ain't for everybody, man. Everything ain't for everybody, man.
What got me was I was watching. I was listening to this podcast called Bigger Pockets, and the dude said his passion was being an art teacher. He liked teaching art. He's like, that's not enough money for me. And this is what I was telling my friends. I'm not saying quit your job, but what the art teacher said, he said, look, but what me and my wife did, we bought a bunch of properties and rent them out as rentals. So now I don't worry about bills, and I can go and be an art teacher in peace because I know that money that I'm getting isn't enough. But now I got rentals that's paying for something else, so I can do my passion peacefully. That's what I always tell people. Like, I'm not saying quit your job, but get some other things going on so you can go to your job happy and like.
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell a quick story. So I do analyst work too of real estate, which is looking at big data and value on properties. I was doing this job one time, looking at all these properties. It was in Chestnut Hill, part of the city, and I came across this property. You can't even see it from like if you go to Google Maps. It's like nothing but trees there. This is huge. I'm talking about like 50,000 square feet in the city, and I'm like, oh, who lives there, or whatever. So I start doing research, trying to figure out who owns this property. Like, you can't find a comp for it. It's impossible.
Right.
But to make a long story short, he was like the grandson of like the founder of Johnson & Johnson or whatever.
Yeah, you know, he's from Philly.
Yes. So, but here's the thing. This dude is an artist, right? And I'm sitting there like, yo, how you living this? But bottom line, the gist of this story is his grandparents like put in work. So now he can follow his passion and do whatever he wants to do because someone in his family line put the work in that he can live off of the rest of his life. So now instead of him having to get up and do something, and that's the idea of building family businesses where, you know what I mean, you have to think generationally, and most people don't think generationally. They're so selfish. All they think about is themselves.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean? And another thing that Brother Malik said when he was on here, he said, don't take a lot of money. And what he meant by that is we always think in terms of I want to have $1 billion or $1 million. But imagine someone, you know, who came before you, put in work where you make $10,000 a month before you like have to do anything. Mm-hmm. That could change your life.
Yeah, that could change your life.
You know what I mean? But that's not having 100 million. But the fact if someone could leave something where you can have 10,000, you can wake up and have $10,000 a month. You could do whatever you want to do at that point.
Yeah, that's it. Me and Reek was having a conversation one time, and somebody I forgot how I started up, but somebody was making like $2,500 a month, and I'm like, how the heck they making moves off of that? Like, how the heck they surviving? And he was like, yo. Before I got into real estate, when I was down in Virginia, I was making $2,500 a month. And he said, when you was working your job, how much you was making? I was like, dang, I was. So I like, but you get caught up in the window things. You like, how the heck? But then at one point, you were at that point, and then you forget, granted, whoever listen, I'm not sitting on $20 million. But and then so when you say when somebody get 10 grand a month, that's really, you can do a lot of stuff with that.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's the idea of getting out there and getting it, right? So because when you get in real estate, you realize it's not difficult to set up a couple plays and make $5,000, $10,000 a month. And when you do that, imagine leaving that stream for the next generation where they're starting with that. See, the idea is to have the next generation start from where you finished. Don't have them start where you started.
Life changing. I want to ask you something. This is something I heard on a podcast. It's called my favorite podcast. I don't know if you heard it, called The One Thing. I listen to it every morning.
I'm familiar with it.
But he said something. He said what I did was I bought 2 houses. He said, and I gave them to my daughter. One house is she can either, both things she can do whatever she want with it. But the first house was she can either sell it to start her business, or she can sell it to pay for her college tuition. And he said the second house is she can sell it she can either move in it and don't have to worry about rent or room and board, or she can sell it to go ahead and buy the place she want to live in, or have rent for the rent money for the condo she want to live, whatever she want to do. And he said, that's what I'm leaving her. And I thought that was dope. I'm like, dang. So he's basically giving her 2 houses. I say they both sold for 150 or 200, whatever area he was in the United States. But that's like really dope. And that's in the back of my mind every day. Like, I want to make sure I leave. I don't have any kids yet, but when I do, like, I'm leaving them 2 look, this is what I'm giving you. You choose what you want to do with that. And, granted, I'll be able to advise, like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, but that's the idea. The idea is you're already thinking generationally. And that's what we have to do as people. We need to start thinking more generationally because, and build upon that, right? So you build upon that. So what you could do is you could leave them those 2, but tell them how to build upon that. You know what I mean? Because you set up all these plays within the real estate game. You right now, you got multiple streams set up within real estate. So, yeah, man, this has been an excellent episode, man.
Thank you.
For anybody out there listening, right? And they watching this and listening to this and they say, man, I want to get started. What would you advise the first thing they should do?
The first thing you should do is you want to get in real estate or just business in general?
Give me both. If it's just real estate, what's the first thing you think you should do if it's business?
If it's the first thing you should do in real estate is go to credit, check total, and check your credit. That's the first thing you should do. See what's going on with your credit, because if you don't have money, credit can help with that. That opens up so many different doors. So check your credit, figure out what's going on with that, and build on top of that, however you need to build it. And second, start saving money as much as you can. And then third is find a mentor. I stress this enough because I've been in business, entrepreneurship, real estate for 2.5 years now. And the reason I'm not at the top yet, but from a lot of people I started with, I try not to compare, but a lot of people just say like, yo, we started together. Like, I only did this and you did that. And I'm like, I like to really stay humble, but the reason why, it moves so fast is because of the cheat code of mentorship. I found mentors before I even got started, and that helped. And then in business, pretty much the same thing. Check your credit. And for business, basically whatever you want to buy, whatever you want to, your product, your services, don't worry about making the money first. Just try to get yourself in front of as many people. Try to market however you want to market, and then just try to put yourself out there, and then and have value with it, because the money, people gonna start calling you for your stuff after a while. My mentor told me, he said, if I can go back in time, I would have dumped all my money in marketing and just try to put myself in front of people. Because after a while, the people see you so many times and you're actually a good person every time they see you, they're going to start calling you like, hey, I want to buy whatever product or service you have. So that's the business aspect of it.
All right. That's dope. That's dope right there, man. Mentorship is the key to you. So that's the cheat code.
If you want to streamline something, find somebody that's, if you don't got a lot of money right now, but if you got like $100 to your name, $50 to your name, find a mentor on Instagram or word of mouth, however you want to do it, and say, hey, can I take you out to lunch? I don't want anything. I just really, you inspire me from the point I can see. I just want to take you out to lunch, and then just build and just be a genuine person. Don't go there asking what's this, but just build a genuine relationship, and then everything else is gonna flow after that.
Yeah, man, that's amazing advice, and it's been consistent throughout this episode. I think it's what I'm gonna call this episode. Mentorship is a cheat code. I like that phrase.
It is. You don't even understand.
Yeah, that's fire.
Stories, I would not be here right now.
I like that quote. That's dope, man. But listen, man. Again, congratulations on all your success. Make sure you keep it up, man. And you know, I wish you much more success, good brother. For the people out there who listening, make sure you share this episode with everybody. Share the video, share the audio. And give us some feedback. Let us know how you feel about it. If there's anybody out there that we haven't really talked to yet, because we have a bunch of people who are trying to come on the show and people we already have lined up. But if there's anybody that you think we should reach out to, let us know. And that's all across the country. We'll get them on. But the idea, again, is to share these stories about people out there doing positive work. Like I said, his brother Derek is doing amazing work. Before we get you out of here, what's your handle on IG that people can follow what you're doing?
DS Boone. So D as in Derek, S as in Sam, and then Boone, Boone.
All right. And we'll make sure we put that in the description box. Follow everything that he's doing on IG. Follow his story as he builds his business. And you know, and I see you do a lot of traveling too, good brother.
Yeah, that's my thing. I just told somebody yesterday, I got like 3 pairs of sneakers. Reek just told me, he said, man, you ain't buy no new sneakers, but bubble popped on my Air Maxes. Said, man, you ain't buy no new sneakers yet? I said, nah, man, I'd rather just, you know, when you travel somewhere else, they don't care what you look like.
This is absolutely true. This is absolutely true. And I know I keep signing off, but last thing before we get out here, I got to ask you this question because you are someone that travel. I like to travel myself.
Right.
How do you think traveling has changed you? Like, even from personally, but also how does it make you see business?
Traveling helped me, I say like 3 ways. Traveling helped me with my self-confidence because now I can, like I said, I can go places and people just really genuine and they don't care what you look like, how much money you got that. So now I can come back to Philly and I can walk around, like I said, in sneakers with the hole popped or like the same clothes for like 2-3 days. Yeah, I could buy new clothes, but I don't care anymore because I know somewhere else they don't even care about that. It's only you, not you, but people in Philly with the small mind, like, why don't you got the newest this, that, and that? So that helped with that. And 2, just seeing different cultures and understanding how they maneuver in different vibes and different things and how they sell stuff, how they buy stuff, the structure of buildings. It just changes your mind and have you thinking outside of the box, and you bring that back to your business. Like, yo, I seen this crazy, you know, structure. I'm gonna bring that back to how I'm gonna do that. Like the next space we do with Reek, I was telling you the inside is gonna be different. It's gonna look like Spain or something.
Okay. That's dope, man. So it does help, man. I just want to bring that up, man. But yeah, man, listen, man, everybody out there, make sure you share this. Again, congratulations, man. And thanks for all the jewels that you dropped in our audience. As we always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Game elevates, man. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.